like to call to order the Westmont Village Board meeting of December 15th, 2022, the last one for this year at 6 o'clock p.m. and ask Clerk Simsky for a roll call, please.
Mayor Gunther?
Here.
The clerk's here. Trustee Barker?
Here.
Trustee Brady?
Here.
Trustee Guzzo?
Here.
Trustee Little?
Here.
Trustee Nero?
Here.
Trustee Simonovich is absent tonight. Attorney Zemanek?
Here.
Manager May?
Here.
Assistant Manager Parker?
Here.
Would everybody please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Again, I'd like to welcome everyone, and at this time, go to open forum. There's no one here for open forum, so I will close open forum and move on to reports. I'm the first person to give the report. I have a couple items. On top of it was a great opening, holidays, the parade. I want to congratulate everybody who participated. Economic development update. A comprehensive economic development update has been published on the village website, including completed projects from this past year, as well as promoting projects scheduled for 2023. Our restaurant week will be January 19th to the 29th, and the Westmont Chamber of Commerce and Tourism Bureau has announced it's the 7th annual Westmont Restaurant Week. More info will be published on the Chamber's website. And again, I want congratulations to our manager for becoming a grandpa. I want to congratulate him. His life will be changed, but, and again, this being the last meeting, I just want to wish everybody a happy and safe holiday. So Clerk Simsky.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm just going to give everybody the holiday schedule and office closures. So the village offices will be closed December 23rd and 26th and January 2nd. Please see the village website for details and when recycling and garbage pickups will be delayed. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Well, I do want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas before I wind down.
Yeah.
So.
Well, okay, now turn to Trustee Nero, Public Works Committee.
Thank you, Mayor. A few updates today. Before this meeting, we had our regularly scheduled Public Works Committee meeting, and just a few big updates. The first big item was our lead water service line inventory update. We have about 215 known and about 1,000 unknown. So over the winter, village staff will be developing a lead service line inventory in accordance with the IEPA regulations. So affected residents will be contacted by mail regarding this, and hopefully a visual inspection of their water service would then come after that. So you can expect that if you suspect it. If your home's been built after 1986, more than likely you won't be affected. But more to come on that. Let's see. Next big update is on dark skies. We went over some information on hopefully on the program and the lighting that's needed for us to adhere to those guidelines. So it sounds like we're going to be seeing more of that get incorporated in our projects here in the future. And let's go over here for a couple other quick just capital improvement updates. Pasquinelli Street Light, speaking of lights, there was a pre-conference held, and I know if you've driven through it, it's pretty dark. I know Trustee Brady tries through it quite frequently as well. We do have an interim plan in place to get it fixed over the winter, but it is going to be out about 6 months for the permanent restoration of that. Same thing with gateway signs. Those have been approved and pre-con meeting has happened. There's just long lead times on some of the components. So hopefully over the next few months, early spring, we'll see those signs reappear or start to appear. And a quick update on our water mains on East Des Moines and South Richmond. Service transfers and disconnection from the old main are underway, and work will continue through the winter as weather permits. Sidewalk, quick update. We got a lot of work with our contractor Safe Step. It looks like we have about 300 trip hazards identified in Deer Creek. So if you live in Deer Creek, expect to see those trip hazards ground down. They do a great job on making sure the sidewalks are smooth. Lots of trees over the winter. We planted close to just under 100 trees in the winter, or we will get done. And I believe the number, I might have this math wrong, but just over 3,000 trees we have scheduled for a pruning contract. So expect that to be happening here over the next few months. We got a nice update on stormwater projects. You know, Westmont does it a dedicated stormwater fund, so it was nice to see that. Let's see, on Park Street, we cleaned a sewer lining, of storm sewer lining, 200 feet on North Park Street, 500 feet of ditch grading, and 317 feet of new culvert pipe installed, 4,000 feet of sewer jetting. All this is performed in-house with our new Vector truck, and 90 catch basins cleaned out. So I think we could all agree, just since, I can't remember exactly when the stormwater sales tax was enacted, but since then, the maintenance that we've been doing, nothing but a positive impact, and we'll knock on wood, haven't been nearly as bad as flooding as there was in some of the years before we did all this maintenance and upkeep, and let alone capital projects. So that is great as well. Let me see, I believe the last update just on fleet, I thought everybody'd like to know, we auctioned off 14 vehicles, $104,000 for the village, so we expect that to come back to us, which is great to see. We got rid of some very old equipment and vehicles. And I got a couple last comments here, Mayor. I know this is going long. We had a lot of updates, but special recycling event recap. Over 300 cars attended the recycling event, which was on December 3rd. It was a collaboration between our EIC committee and Public Works, as well as DuPage County and eWorks. 14,000 pounds of electronics and 1,300 pounds of textiles were collected. The next recycling event is going to be January 21st at the Public Works facility. This event will also include a collection of styrofoam, aerosol cans, batteries, latex paints, car seats, all the tough things to get rid of when you want to get rid of it. And then holiday tree collection will begin. I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but since we won't be here, January 3rd to 14th, you could just put them out with your regular your garbage pickup day. And I believe that is about it, sir. Happy holidays to everybody, and a special thanks to Public Works, the Park District. The Holidays Parade and tree lighting was great. It was great to see everybody there. And that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
And thank you for chairing that Stormwater Committee and getting that passed. So
Yeah.
moving on to Trustee Barker, Environmental Improvement Committee Chair, and Westmont first.
Thank you, Mayor. The Environmental Improvement Committee will meet again on January 9th at 5:30 PM here in Village Hall. Currently, we have the holiday lights recycling, working with Elgin Recycling to provide holiday lights recycling. Drop-off locations are set up at the library and the fire department, South Fire Station. The program continues through January 31st, and we have a green business and residential recycling contest. There's still time to go online to sign up for this program that encourages everyone to share their recycling practices. 4 business winners will receive up to $250 in free waste hauling and recycling over a 2-month period, and 4 residential winners will receive 2 months of free waste hauling and recycling. And again, that's on the village website. And then we have just announced again the No Mo Till Mother's Day. We're always thinking about next year, and we published that today to sign up for next year. The only complaint that we received was the fact that people would like to know about it ahead of time so that they can work out their lawn contracts. So there's plenty of notice. You can sign up on the village website, so that information is out there. And then Westmont First will meet again in January on the 17th at 6 PM here in Village Hall, and we'll continue to discuss the community mural program and the Downtown Westmont Performance Arts Series. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Trustee Little, Administration and Finance.
Thank you, Mayor. Our next Administration Finance Committee meeting will be held January 12th, 4:30, right here in Village Hall. Holidays Home Decorating Contest. You can vote on your favorite holiday decorated homes. More information is on westmontevents.com. All the pictures with Santa from the parade are on the village website now, so you can go ahead and take a look at all the pictures that were taken there. They took a lot of them all through the parade, but then again in the train station where they had Santa taking pictures with everyone. The Creative Arts Network anniversary, we want to thank everyone that was involved with the Creative Arts Network. They celebrated their full year of art classes this last Monday. Over the past year, there were a total of 12 classes with 194 signups. The dates for all of next year's classes have been published on westmontevents.com. And I personally want to thank Public Works Department for all of their efforts at decorating the holiday decorations all over downtown. We look amazing, and I'm so proud to live here. So thank you. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you. Trustee Brady, Community Development Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Regarding code enforcement, I want to thank the code enforcement staff for resolving a difficult situation where trash has been dumped along the street at 216 East 55th Street. After multiple communications with staff, the property owner finally removed the trash. We have an address at 329 East 56th Street, which the house was declared dangerous and unsafe and sought a court order to allow the village to demolish the house. The property has a new owner, and a settlement agreement provides a new owner to demolish the house on the 15th of the month, which is today. I went there this afternoon. The house is still intact. The only thing that's been torn down is all the heavy foliage that was hiding the house. That's the only thing left. So maybe it was a misunderstanding with the owner, but they didn't touch the house.
You're talking about
Beautiful piece of
329?
property,
Yeah.
a nice area.
So I think you provided an update before, maybe in closed session or by email, but we filed litigation over that property to have the house demolished, and a new owner has taken over ownership and signed a settlement agreement to have the house demolished. Pulled a demo permit. They cleared all the dead and other trees out of the property. They removed the dilapidated fence. They put construction fencing around it. They got their demo permit today, and they're going to start demolition either tomorrow or early next week. So good.
Right, thank you. And the last item, this Saturday, December 17th, is National Wreath Across America. All of the national cemeteries throughout the 50 states, volunteers will be adding wreaths to the military veterans that have passed away. Our closest cemetery is Lincoln National Cemetery, which is outside of Joliet. So I've been there in the past. It's very humbling to put a wreath on each of the stones. The program starts at 10, if anybody's interested, the program starts at 10 o'clock, but the infrastructure, the way the roads are built, it can't handle a lot of traffic. So the best thing is to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning to get into the cemetery. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Trustee Johanna Guzzo, Fire and Public Safety Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Our next Fire Public Safety Committee meeting will be March 9th at 4:30 here at Village Hall. Everyone is invited to attend. Keep the Wreath Red program from December 1st through January 1st. The wreaths are hung at both of our fire stations, and we want to make sure that we keep all those bulbs red. If there is a fire that is caused by any holiday decorations, it will be removed and replaced with a white bulb. This program has been going on for many, many years, and I want to have everyone help keep that wreath red. And then the fire department's 100th anniversary celebration will be beginning in 2023. The fire department is going to be 100 years old. Please stay tuned as events are announced. And I want to take the opportunity to wish everyone a very happy and safe holiday season. Happy 2023, and I want to thank all of our village staff for everything they do throughout the year for our residents. Thank you so much. And Mayor, that's all I have.
Thank you. And Trustee Simonovich had a family event tonight, so Police Public Safety Committee, I'll give her a report. The next meeting will be January 26th, 2023 at 4:30 p.m. here at Village Hall. And a very special presentation, we have the Special Olympics photo. We invite Police Chief Gunther to talk about this year's effort at fundraising for Special Olympics Illinois. Chief.
Thank you, Mayor. As the board is well aware, the Westmont Police Department has a long history of raising money for Special Olympics of Illinois, and this year was another record-breaking year for the police department in its fundraising. And I'm going to invite Sergeant Mike Weibler up to the podium to give the presentation But before he arrives, I'd like to thank him personally because he is our point person. This is a year-long endeavor that he organizes and orchestrates with various organizations within the community. So without Mike, his hard work and dedication to the cause, all of this would not be possible. So with further ado, Sergeant Weibler.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor, Village Board, Chief. Tonight, I get to boast. I get to boast about how awesome the Village of Westmont is and what we do as a community together. This year, as the Chief alluded, we blew the doors off the hinges and gave all of our Special Olympic athletes the means to do what they love. With events like the Duncan Cop on the Rooftop, shred events, National Night Out, cruising events, the volleyball fundraiser, annual volleyball game that we have at the high school, the beard fundraiser that the chief allows us to do at the police department, and general donations throughout the year, we were able to set an all-time Community of Westmont record of $25,215.58. As I've said, this is a community effort, so I need to thank the following that make this possible. Number one, our Chief of Police, Jim Gunther, our Mayor, our Village Board, Safeway Insurance, Illinois Tree Service, International Auto Glass, Costco, King Car Wash, District 201, and most importantly, everybody that had to deal with me and my staff on Thursday night at the cruising nights and other events throughout town that generously gave to this awesome and great organization. At this time, I'd like to bring up two of our Special Olympic messengers to express their gratitude. Becky and Aaron, come on up.
Hi, my name is Becky Canna. I am a Special Olympics athlete and a global master. I am 17 years old and a senior at Westmont High School. I compete on Special Olympics, swim team, ride horses, and rhythmic routines. I also compete on my school's track team, act and play and sing in the chorus. Special Olympics also has volleyball. Special Olympics also have volleyball, bowling, basketball, softball, and basketball, and more. I like Special Olympics because it makes me feel part of the team, meet new friends, be included while learning new skills. I look forward to seeing you all at the Power Plus and the Duck Derby Friday of December. Thank you very much for donating Special Olympics. Thanks again. See you later. I wanted to thank all of the police officers and also congratulations for the torch run. And a special thank you for Paige and Don and Sage. Excellent job, torch run, and thank you.
And knocked it out of the park. And for a special, and you know what, this is such a special occasion, I'd like the whole board to get up there and take a picture with the check. So come on up, board.
All right, there you go.
all coming up. Congrats. Congratulations. You did all this? You did all this and got a hole in one? How'd you have energy to do that?
Congratulations.
We'll give them the weekends off.
Great job. Yeah.
You got room.
Frank, can
You want to go to the other side, Frank?
Even it out a little bit? Thank you. Right up here in the front with me. Here we go.
Doesn't do much.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Right here, guys. One more, hold on. I gotta go way back. Lots of good smiles. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, ladies. Thanks. Give them a fist bump or something. Oh, fist bump.
Good job, all right, guys, congrats.
We'll take those fist bumps.
Good job, all right.
Congratulations.
Nice job.
Thank you so much.
All right, thanks, everybody.
Guys, you did a great job, that's all I can tell you. This really helped me get right away.
All right.
Hi, girls. We're kind of rock and roll.
Wonderful thing.
And that's, our police department only does one fundraiser, and that's it. They did a great job supporting Special Olympics. So that's all the items for reports, and I'll move on to agenda items to be removed from consent agenda. Any board members see an item they'd like? If not, Manager May, would you please read this consent agenda?
The consent agenda this evening begins with Village Board minutes. Board to consider approving the minutes of the Village Board meeting held December 1st, 2022. Next is Finance Ordinance Number 17 in the aggregate amount of $1,926,948.93. There are several purchase orders, first one being Tech Standard Solutions, LLC, in the amount of $34,263.24. This is for police video evidence for the storage server. The next purchase order is Axon Enterprises. The Axon system is also the cameras for, well, the body-worn cameras, the interview room squad cars, and tasers, and this is year 2 of a 5-year agreement. Third purchase order, T.Y. Lin International Great Lakes Incorporated, $129,146. This is the purchase order to accompany the engineering services agreement that was already approved regarding the Phase 1 design engineering for a grade-separated pedestrian crossing at the railroad near the depot. Next purchase order, Community Unit School District 201, and the amount of $146,172.37. This is the annual TIF contribution for capital improvements within the TIF district. For any improvements in the TIF, just the TIF contribution. The total of those purchase orders was $398,693.85. So together, purchase orders with Finance Ordinance Number 17 equals $2,325,642.78. And that concludes the consent agenda.
Okay, but motion to approve is read.
Motion to approve is read. Little?
Motion made and second. Any comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Motion passes. We'll move on to new business. Medical Office, 6320 South Cass Avenue. It's an amended site plan. Board to consider an ordinance approving a request from SART US LLC for an amended site and landscaping plan at 6320 South Cass Avenue to construct a medical office in the C1 Commercial Business District. Director Sylvester.
Mr. Mayor and trustees, this is a project you may remember from about a year ago. A developer and a business is proposing to tear down the bank building that's right next to Papa Pacero's that's been vacant for several years and construct a new medical office building. That was reviewed and approved. The developer has since secured a new tenant, and the new tenant wanted some reconfigurations made that mostly affect the parking lot. Based on our zoning ordinances, it had to go back through the Planning and Zoning Commission and back up in front of you for that modification to be approved. It was considered last night at the Planning and Zoning Commission, and the Planning and Zoning Commission voted 7-0 to recommend approval of the request to amend the site plan.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Nero.
I have a question.
Second Little?
Seconds, but questions?
Okay, I noticed the people, Advanced Care Medical, are they going to lease the property?
You know, there's a representative here. Tom, do you want to come up and field some questions?
I have a couple of questions, thank you. Are you going to be leasing your property, sir?
So, we're the ownership group. Advanced Care Medical was the first tenant. We had some trouble with them. We've since secured a secondary medical use. Neurogenics is the secondary use, but yes, they'll end up leasing the site from us.
Okay, I noticed also they're from Dallas, Texas. Is this the first building coming into Illinois?
For Neurogenics, we have 7 sites that are currently active.
In Illinois?
Yeah.
I see.
One is currently going up in New Lenox, and then we have several others throughout the western suburbs. 25 active sites around the country for.
You know, an office building, a medical building was constructed a few years, past year on Ogden Avenue, West Ogden, and one thing's really missing is the American flag. I suggest the American flag be put out in front because you're going to be next to the fire department headquarters. It is good to be competitive against the fire department. And then a few blocks south, there's an auto repair shop under construction. They're going to put up an American flag also, quite large. So it's a suggestion, not saying that you have to do it, it's not in the ordinance, but it'll be impressive to have a company come in and put the American flag up.
No problem. I probably can handle that.
Yeah.
That's all I have, sir.
Any other questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
New business B, Economic Development Agreement for 6104, 6154 South Cass. Board to consider an ordinance approving the Economic Development Agreement to provide an incentive to the owner of the property at 6104 to 6154 South Cass for removal of a blighted building and site preparation for planned redevelopment. And I've got Director Sylvester.
Mr. Mayor and trustees, this is an exciting item on the agenda, I believe. It's an opportunity to finally have the property or the building at Westview South torn down to make way for some new commercial redevelopment. So a man, Chris Kane, bought the property a year ago. He intends to put in a car wash business and another business. He's going to split the lot into 2. And to make way for that development, we're proposing to provide an incentive for some of the site preparation costs, and specifically the demolition of the existing building. That is an allowed use of TIF funds. This is in the South Westmont Business District TIF area, and it's an eligible use of the funds, and this would provide the incentive to tear the building down and make way for that proposed redevelopment.
And right now, that's probably the #1 issue. People asking questions. So do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second Guzzo.
Motion made, second. Comments?
I have a question. Have you decided how much money is going to be allocated?
Yeah, so the agreement, which you had a copy or a link to a copy in the agenda items, is to provide up to a maximum of 90% of the costs of demolition, 90% of his costs, with a maximum cap of $250,000.
Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes, so Trustee Barker.
I think we talked to committee, about the incentives and things and having a control mechanism. So the incentives, whatever it happens to be, that development or another one, that the incentive is based on progress made on the site so that we don't do something and then, say award the incentive, and then it doesn't materialize, or it goes year upon year of no progress. And
I'm glad you brought that up. So to be clear, this incentive would only be provided after the demolition work is done and the site clearance work has been done and documentation, receipts basically, have been provided, and then we'll evaluate that and provide the refund basically for the eligible demolition costs.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
no money's provided until after the work is completed.
This is exactly what a TIF's supposed to do, so it's great to see that we're helping, and
Finally.
yeah, it's great, long time coming, great.
I do have to compliment staff. They cut out a separate piece of that property to allow for the commercial business to go there. So I know that, I think Joe brought that up, and they listened and they did, so that could be a tax place that generates tax to us. So I want to compliment staff. Any other questions?
Can I elaborate
Yeah.
on what you just said? Because I do also want to emphasize what a good job staff did, and you mentioned Joe, and I just want the trustees to be aware that you're referring to Joe Hennerfein.
Yeah.
And it's Joe Hennerfein in the Community Development Department who had the idea of splitting the lot in such a way that the property owner's primary goal of having a car wash business created could also accommodate a future retail site that has a lot of promise to it. So kudos to Joe Hennerfein.
You said that much better than I did. So, any other comments? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business C, video gaming liquor license amendments. Board to consider an ordinance approving amendments to Chapter 10, Section 10-36 of the Village Code of Ordinances regarding Class 22 and Class 23 liquor license for video gaming establishments. Before I turn this over to our attorney, we put a moratorium for this year on video gaming to get to the point where we can make some decisions on some changes. That moratorium will end December 31st, so after our committee meetings and discussions, attorney has made those amendments for us to approve tonight, and I'll turn this over to him.
Thanks. This item and the one that follows was discussed at a somewhat recent Administration and Finance Committee meeting, and the direction from the majority of that committee was to proceed with working on this ordinance to amend the Class 22 and the Class 23 liquor license classifications. The Class 22 liquor license classification is for video gaming cafes. Those are the cafes that don't operate as a restaurant. They may serve some food as an amenity, but their primary operation is video gaming. They don't have any other sort of underlying liquor license, and the village determined that there were enough outstanding licenses for video gaming cafes within the village. The board wasn't interested in seeing additional video gaming cafes come into the village, and to eliminate that Class 22 license classification. So that's what this ordinance does. But it also adds language with that elimination to protect existing businesses who can continue to operate under their existing Class 22 license, so they can renew their license annually from year to year, provided they pay the fees. And we also address in here what happens if there's a change of ownership. So let's say it could be a 50% change of ownership, it could be 100% change of ownership, where someone wants to step into the shoes of the owner and continue operations of a video gaming cafe unchanged. And in that circumstance, this ordinance says that first, anytime there's a change of ownership over 20%, they have to apply for a new liquor license. And so this ordinance says they can apply for that new Class 22 liquor licenses, and you'll consider it and issue it if they're otherwise qualified and if they have their state video gaming license. So even though you've eliminated this class, it allows for a continuation of an existing use if there's a sale of the business. But if the sale of the business is due to bankruptcy, insolvency, appointment of a receiver, because the business has completely failed, you're not going to issue a new Class 22 license under those circumstances. or if a new owner comes in and wants to significantly change the nature of the operations, such as the floor plan, the motif, how they offer video gaming within this cafe, the mayor has the right in his discretion to say, no, that's not that's too significant of a change from what we originally approved. It's not a continuation of that business. Also, if the business has been non-operational for at least 30 days and then sells, there's a change of ownership. In that case, they're not eligible for a new Class 22 license. That business would go away and you'd have one less in town. I guess I'll take questions afterwards and move on to the Class 23 license. Class 23 license allows an establishment that holds, let's say, a restaurant or a tavern liquor license to get a video gaming liquor license and offer video gaming as an accessory use to their primary use of a restaurant or tavern, or I think Hilton Hotel has the right to do it, and a few others. And the restriction that the board wanted to see was because there are quite a number of video gaming, I guess, establishments with video gaming in the downtown area, and the downtown area is pretty consolidated, businesses right next to each other, and it's in the process of getting revitalized. The village wanted to eliminate Class 23 licenses, future licenses, in the B1 Limited Business District. So existing establishments with the Class 23 can continue to operate, offer video gaming. They can renew their license from year to year. No change for anyone who's been existing. As you recall, when video gaming was first authorized by the village and introduced, it was discussed that this is an attempt to help existing businesses within the village, and they were encouraged to apply if they wanted to get it, because they were told, who knows how long this is going to be around, there might be a cutoff at some point, and now you're suggesting here's the cutoff, at least within the B1, so you don't have this further proliferation within that condensed business district. There's similar language in here about change of ownership. So change of ownership, you can issue a new Class 23 to that establishment as long as those exceptions that I just listed for Class 22 don't apply. Also for the Class 23 license, the board has imposed a 365-day waiting period for any new license holder who comes in, where they have to operate as, let's say, a restaurant without video gaming for a year to show that they can survive with their principal business being that of a restaurant. Where there's a change of ownership under these circumstances, where they're continuing the same theme, style of restaurant or whatever, they don't have to wait 365 days. That would be considered, if you want to be business friendly and allow a sale to go through and allow an owner to try and maximize value for their business that they've built up that includes video gaming, it allows this sale to happen a little more easily.
The 50%.
Oh, yeah, and a rule applicable to all businesses that's imposed here is that at least 50% of their annual revenue must be derived from the sale of food and beverages. So they can't have more than 50% of their annual revenue derived from video gaming operations, and that's to prevent a restaurant or a tavern or other authorized use from turning into a video gaming cafe, where that's all they offer. And that's consistent with the language that you have currently, which says video gaming has to be an accessory use to their principal use and an amenity. So it's going to be applicable, this 50% requirement, to all existing businesses or any new Class 23 license holder, regardless of what zoning district they are in. And we've surveyed revenue of these businesses that have video Class 23 licenses, and with one outlier exception, every single one is over 50%. All of them, except for maybe one, are over 60%, so they should have no problem complying with this.
And the one that we were discussing has shown an improvement in their percentage of video gaming versus.
Improvement, but.
It's an improvement.
Different ways to go.
And we're reviewing it, but this gives us a little bit more teeth with the percentage instead of primary.
And I've got one question for the board, and the way this is drafted now, if there's a change of ownership for a business in the B1 district, the new owners don't have to wait 365 days to get their new Class 23 license. If they're otherwise authorized after a background check and they have their state video gaming license, you can issue it. What about other zoning districts? I think if you do it for a business in the B1 district, it should also, you should consider whether you want to waive the waiting period if it's in the B2 or the OR district or the M district also, where there's a change of ownership. But if it's a brand-new business that comes in, they certainly would have to wait the 365-day period.
And the one other thing is that if the change of ownership, they cannot change the operation. So if they're entitled to that Class 23 as long as they meet the background check, but they do not get, if they completely come in and have a restaurant serving pasta and then they change it over to breakfast only, and so we have a choice, they have to remain the same business, or else they're not entitled to Class 23.
Right. And that determination's made by the local liquor commissioner based on kind of totality of the circumstances in his or her discretion.
So before we even do the motions, do we have questions now? Trustee Barker.
Yeah, so the Mayor, your comment about that, the change, that means we're always going to have to go back and constantly check to make sure they're following what they committed to. And then for the attorney, if on the Class 22, and I understand that it's tied to the success of the business, the machines are everything to that business on the Class 22. If the state of Illinois would say, allow, currently it's 6 machines, if they would say 12 or whatever would fit, that business or building or whatever could be, could potentially become a little casino. So we'd have regional casinos, and we've got 3. I see the state wanting to expand it. That's why I'm wondering is how do we control that? Is there any way to limit it? And then with community development, is there any standard to say, if you have 6 machines in that space, is there a maximum, or is there a way to say, that building and that square footage can only be up to 12, 18 machines, not 40 or 50? Because if you go to a casino, they pack them in. They don't care if you're comfortable. It's about getting you to throw your money into the machine. And can we put some limits on that, or we just have to go with whatever the state does? We're subject to.
No, you can limit it. Those are great questions. And it kind of ties in with the next item, which is the zoning amendments, because by eliminating the Class 22 liquor, by eliminating the video gaming cafes, which are only allowed in the B2 district, you've essentially created, for those existing businesses, they become legal non-conforming uses. And one of the rules of a legal non-conforming use is that they can't expand the use at all. So if they add one more terminal, that's arguably an expansion of the use, or if they bump out their building in some way, it might be considered an expansion of the use. So we built in language that I was going to get to in the next item, but that allows them to expand. They'd have to meet all the zoning rules and regulations, and they'd have to comply with the State Video Gaming Act, but we allow for that because it might be unduly restrictive to say, you can't do a bump out of your building that you need to add some nice amenity. But as far as the number of terminals, that's something where the state authorizes an establishment to have up to a maximum number, and we are able to license the terminals, and I'm 99% positive that we can restrict the number of terminals in any one establishment.
We could override the state.
Believe so in that regard. Because the state could say you'd have 100 terminals, right? and there's a requirement they have to be segregated, and that people under the age of 21 can't have access, and that's something we look at. Every time an application comes in, we require a floor plan. Where are they going to be located? Can someone who's working the bar or the restaurant, do they have a direct view or camera view?
On the class
All of those
23,
things.
though, they're kind of limited because they have to maintain the 50%. But on the three that are, or the class 23, I should say, has to maintain the 50%. But the class 22, inside those walls, they could essentially do whatever would be allowed by, that's what I wouldn't want them to do is, 6, fine, not overwhelming, but if, we have video gaming in town and they become mini casinos because the state likes the money, and it's not that we don't like the money, but I don't think we want mini casinos.
And we can limit, if we decide that 6 is the max, we can.
Yeah, I'd recommend you do it now as part of this ordinance, where you can say, class 22 liquor license is eliminated as a class, but existing license holders can continue to operate provided they shall have no more than 6 terminals. You can say that.
Or do we say 8, or the board's, should we limit it? What's the board's feeling? I tend to agree with Trustee Barker that we don't want to leave it open-ended. If state decides 20, then we got 20 of those machines in one little establishment.
Yeah, I don't even know what place could even fit more than
I know.
the 6 they got are so crammed in just about every place anyways.
And they're limited to 2,250 gross square feet of space. That's one of the class 22 requirements that is going to continue in force for those existing places, along with the other restrictions. So I don't know if there's, to your point, be a lot of room to add a lot more, but they potentially could add several more. Mary, you spend a lot of time in Dottie's. What do you think?
Penny's pays more. Laura's place is not bad either, but I think if we cap it at 8 or whatever I think we give them a little bit more. But I'm okay capping it, saying that.
Gives us some protection to
Yes,
say.
yes.
It's not whatever the governor thinks.
Can you cap it based on the square footage per machine?
Well, that's what I was getting at. Is there anything that says,
Well, that's what I just asked.
yeah.
Can you cap it, like, say, you have to have 30 square feet per machine so that they don't cram?
I can't do the math now because it's my weak subject, but yeah, if they're allowed a maximum of 2,250 square feet of floor space, we can back out the math, see how many that would result in, and then go from there.
How many in 2250? 5 machines?
But if we just said 8, it's a lot easier to
Oh, okay.
Keep it that way.
monitor. And that would just be 2 more than what they have now.
And even if we had 8, it still would have to, I mean, the
They
deputy
said
liquor
to me-
commissioner would have to say there's enough room, and we would
Yes.
look at it from a permit standpoint. It wouldn't just be everybody can just get 8 then.
Right.
And the state would obviously have to lift the number.
Yeah.
And from a fire safety perspective too, I think we need to look at that to make sure that there's enough room for firefighters, EMS to get in and get out, and, yeah, I don't want to see them crammed in there either.
Anytime they make a change to their floor plan, any liquor license holder changes their floor plan, they need approval from the local liquor commissioner for that. actually
And I
have to
in
pay a
turn
fee.
give it to staff to make sure that it satisfies all of our requirements. So I'm okay with 8, if.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
8. So we would make a motion to add this to this ordinance.
And I don't think you have to do it by motion. I think you can just, if everyone's, or the majority's in favor of that, just give me direction, and it's reflected in the minutes, and I'll make that change.
Does anybody object to 8? 8 it is.
So that's for class 22 licenses.
23 too.
And class 23, yeah, do you want that same limitation?
I think
Okay.
so.
Yeah,
You gotta keep
I
it.
think 8 is the max. Everybody okay? Yep. So,
Wonderful. And then, to answer my question about the 365-day waiting period for
new business.
license holders, not for new businesses, but for existing, when there's a change of ownership
Yeah.
in, let's say, the B2 district or the M district, are you okay waiving that waiting period under those circumstances. And again, the reason is that they may be paying a higher price, hoping they can get video gaming, knowing it can continue if they are eligible for a license. The sale and purchase would be contingent on them getting their village license. If they have to wait 365 days, it changes the terms of the deal a little bit, which is fine. You can absolutely say, we don't care, wait the 365
It's
days.
business friendly doing it that way.
I'm fine with that, but can we be notified if that happens? You know, so we'd become aware of it, that, you know, they've got a new owner.
They have to, anytime there's a change of ownership in any amount, they have to notify the village, and if it's over 20%, they have to get a new liquor
Yeah.
license. So
Right.
the mayor will be aware, and then the mayor can
Pass it along.
inform all of you as necessary.
Yeah, that'd be nice to know that
Yeah.
we're
Again,
dealing with
that's-
somebody else.
That's if they don't change the operation either. If they start changing it, then it's a whole different business.
Any change triggers that, or
Any substantial change,
substantial?
so
Okay.
they're changing the motif or general theme. If they go from, you know, an American burger restaurant like, I don't know,
Yeah, no, I gotcha.
mine went blank, but went to a pancake house, as the mayor said, that's
Yeah.
pretty substantial. If they just add a brick oven for making pizza and add that to the menu, that's not really a change.
Well, I think that's the right thing to do.
But I think what this has done is taken our year of moratorium and put all of our feelings into it, so it tightens up the video gaming.
At Planning and Zoning Commission last night, they considered the next item, which were the corresponding zoning changes to this item. And I should bring up now that 2 commissioners voted no to the Class 23 restriction, which would eliminate this as an accessory use in the B1 district for the downtown area. They felt that it should be allowed to continue for new establishments in the downtown. And one of the commissioners said, if you do allow it, he thinks there should still be a 365-day waiting period where there's a change of ownership, and promised to pass those comments along since it happened just last night and didn't make your packets.
And they raise good points, but I think our feeling is we want to be business friendly and allow business to sell and continue with the video gaming.
Yeah, especially if they keep it the same. I mean,
Yeah.
why hurt them like that? It's their family business potentially. I mean, I think it's the least the village could do.
And then their other comment was that not allowing it downtown, that business may need that. Well, if they need it, then they're not a restaurant, they're a cafe. So the point is the future boards can always amend it if they want to allow it later on downtown in the central business district.
Yeah, if 4 businesses that exist go out of business, and there's no change of ownership, or someone wants to continue it, and that number of video gaming establishments downtown keeps shrinking, you know, a future board can, to your point.
Amend it.
Yeah, amend it.
So what I need is on new business C, I need a motion to approve an ordinance that approving the amendments, Chapter 10, Section 10-36 of the Village Code of Ordinance regarding Class 22 and 23 liquor license for video gaming establishments. So I have a motion.
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second, Little?
Miss, motion been made and seconded. Any additional comments? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Nero?
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo?
Yes.
Trustee Barker?
Yes.
Trustee Little?
Yes.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Motion passes. The second motion is B1, B2 Business Districts Video Gaming Text Amendment. Board to consider ordinance approving text amendments to Section 7.03 of the zoning ordinance to remove video gaming cafes as a special use in the B2 General Business District and to remove video gaming as a permitted accessory use in the B1 Limited Business District. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve Guzzo.
Second, Little?
Motion made, second. Additional comments?
I have a question.
Yes.
How many cafes do we have right now, do you think? We're just dealing with the cafes, we're not dealing with restaurants, right?
No.
Isn't it? The way it's amended here, eliminate the Class 23? Is that where you are right now?
we eliminated the 22, which is cafe, and we're not allowing any 23 in the central business district. That's what this is.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, so
That's a separate
I think there's 20 establishments in town, I think we talked about this earlier, that have video gaming, and I think, is it 6 of them are just, or 5 of them are just cafes, and the rest are restaurants. So this basically is just no more, we're not going to allow any more video gaming downtown.
And there, so while this eliminates video gaming as an accessory use in the B1 district, that's one of the zoning changes, there's a footnote that I mentioned that if there's a change of ownership, they can continue. I realize that just today we made changes to the change of ownership language, and I need to make sure that is mirrored in the zoning amendment. So what was in your packet is going to get changed slightly to mirror what was passed out and highlighted in yellow for you today regarding change of ownership. And I'll also have to incorporate the limit of no more than 8 terminals in the previous ordinance that we discussed. Yep.
Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Motion passes. I do have one other comment real quick, and we did raise our fee several months ago from the $25 a terminal to $250. The state allows that. Home rule communities can set their own. So if you hear anything, we have raised it to $250 per machine, and you probably already heard something, Trustee Little. But
That's actually low.
it's low compared to
It's
thousands
10X
from
for
other
us.
places.
True. But the comment that I heard was, why couldn't you have done it in smaller increments to get to that price? And I said, take a look at all the other villages around.
Yeah.
That's my comment.
Yeah. Again, they don't, it's an option at their choice. They don't have to have the terminal then. So, all right, we'll move on to the E, 2021 International Building Code Local Amendment Modification. Board to consider ordinance modifying section 18-6220 of the 2021 International Building Code to modify a local amendment regarding requirements for fire resistance rating. I think we discussed this before, but I got Director Sylvester to update us.
Yes, Mr. Mayor and trustees, you'll recall that 4 weeks ago, you approved the adoption of the 2021 International Building Codes for the Village of Westmont. As I explained at that time, new model codes are produced every 3 years, and it's good practice for a community to adopt newer codes over time. I believe we were about 9 years out, which is pretty typical, and a pretty good time to adopt the most currently available version of the codes, and that's exactly what we did. As a part of that, we also evaluated some local amendments, which are rules that any individual community can create above and beyond what is provided in the model codes. There was good discussion, good work between the fire department and community development department to evaluate all of our local amendments. Some were kept, some were eliminated, some were modified, and there was only one where we just couldn't quite see eye to eye. So 4 weeks ago, you agreed to adopt it, to adopt the new model codes and keep that one local amendment that still needed a little more work, and directed staff to continue working on that one local amendment. I want to give lots of thanks and appreciation to Chief Riley and his staff, Neil Berkowitz, and also to Jason Vitale and my department for working together and coming up with some language on this one final remaining local amendment that we're all comfortable with. We reported this to you at the Finance Admin Committee meeting of 2 weeks ago, and it is up in front of you tonight to be formally adopted as a revised local amendment. And just real quickly, it basically deals with some very technical issues about fire resistance ratings on structural elements on new construction. And it just clarifies where it's required and to what level of fire resistance it is required.
Chief Riley, you want to give us any additional, everything's good? Do I have a motion to approve the amendment?
Motion
To approve, Little?
Second Guzzo.
Motion made, second. Comments? I think it's good teamwork, so roll call, please.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Motion
Yes.
passes. New business F, IGA with DuPage County. Board to consider ordinance approving an intergovernmental agreement with DuPage County for operable radio system for the Westmont Fire Department. Chief Riley.
Thank you, Mayor. The village and the county's ETSB collaborative on effective responses to 911 calls through an interoperable radio system. This is a IGA that I discussed at Fire Public Safety 2 weeks ago. This IGA provides terms and costs for replacement radios and related equipment for the fire department use. I will say that the police are already using their new portable radios and are liking them. I will explain that fire is still not rolled out. They're still testing them up in Northbrook at the plant, but we hope to have them up and operational within the next 2 to 3 months.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve Guzzo.
Second, Brady.
Motion made, second. Comments? Questions? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Motion passes. New business G, electric supply agreement. Board to consider an ordinance approving an electric supply agreement for the purchase of electricity for municipal purposes. We've got Public Works Director Reese.
This is a renewal of electric supply agreements for some general service and dawn to dusk accounts that we have. The previous agreement was adopted in 2017. It's expiring. We have like a consultant kind of guy that handles collecting the wholesale pricing from various electric suppliers that are available. And he has recommended a medium-term 36-month contract for electric pricing. The preliminary pricing that we got was below ComEd, probably 25 to 30% below what their rate is proposed for 2023. There is a lot of market uncertainty, so we do recommend re-executing a 36-month contract for this, and we will be in touch with him on the 19th when the new pricing is released so that we can get the best available pricing.
Is it the same company
Yeah.
we're purchasing it from?
Well, there's a
Brokering.
There's a broker, but he will solicit pricing from various suppliers. So I believe there was 4 different suppliers for each one. So the contract will be executed with the best available pricing.
And because the pricing comes out when it does this order, you're actually just authorizing me to execute it on that
Yep.
day of the price situation's better.
Well, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, Nero.
Second Little.
And additional comments? The one comment would be, and I think some of our facilities get their electric for free.
Yep.
And it's for public safety, so we don't pay some of the facilities.
Yeah, so there are free institution, and there's some village facilities, and I even think that extends to schools and other things too, but either way, it's still, the rate. So the rate is the same for all the accounts, but it's just, there's no usage in that.
Yeah, we don't get charged for certain
Right.
facilities. So, and that's through ComEd, I think, right?
Yeah, excellent.
Franchise
Yeah, that's
agreement.
through ComEd's agreement with us, so. Any other comments? Roll call, please.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee, did I call Nero?
Yes.
Okay. Little.
Yes.
And Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Motion passes,
And
thank
me.
you. And trustee,
I had you down as a yes.
Yes, I'm a yes.
moving on miscellaneous, does anybody have anything to add this evening?
Mayor, just to highlight, we had 2 students here tonight from Hinsdale Central, and they had to get a signature on one of their pages to make sure that the teacher knew they were here, but
They're
it's nice
still
to see.
awake, they're still awake too, good.
Yeah, I already signed it, son, they
they
came,
could've left.
and they still stayed, so you gotta give them
Thanks for
credit.
coming.
I'm actually an alumni of Hinsdale Central, class of, not telling you. So welcome.
Mayor?
Yes.
So when you convened the meeting this evening, you mentioned that it was the last meeting of the year, but we would normally, our structure for meeting is every 2 weeks. regardless of the pattern in the month. So there would have been a scheduled meeting on the 29th. Actually, a year ago, it was published to hold one on the 29th that we are not intending to hold, but that won't, unless there's any objection to that. But that doesn't actually formally get announced until you actually publish the cancellation notice, which will be 48 hours before that date. So I just wanted to point that out and make sure that there was no concerns about canceling the 29th.
Anybody want to meet?
Staff can.
Staff? About that. So if we do not have, and I'm sure everybody want to wish everybody a safe and happy holiday season, and without any other miscellaneous, I don't know if Larry Forsberg, if you have any information we missed. Hilton has a big New Year's Eve celebration. Yeah, I knew I'd get him up there.
That's a great reminder, Mayor. The Rat Pack is coming back to the Hilton on New Year's Eve. The last time they were here was 3 years ago, and they had a sellout event. It was wonderful. So they have tickets available online. Just go to the Hilton website. You can buy your tickets there. They have packages for not only the performance that evening, but a dinner and overnight stays. So more people staying overnight in Westmont's always a good thing. Thank you. Have a great holiday.
And then I got you up there, the polo event.
Oh, the water polo event?
Yes.
Is good, and actually, we're working, they just released the revenue that came in from that, the economic impact. I haven't had a chance to read it, got it late this afternoon. But I know from talking with the DuPage Convention Visitors Bureau and also the natatorium that the turnout and everything is good. Matter of fact, they're already well in advance in discussions to bring that water polo event back. So.
Wow. So when we get that report, we could pass along to the trustees and see how much impact tax dollars and it provides the community. So it's.
I covered the bleachers, the first event they had.
Oh, the first 2 hours. Thank you.
Yeah, right.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Little?
Second, Euro.
Motion been made, second to adjourn. Roll call, please.
Trustee Little.
Yes.
Trustee Brady.
Yes.
Trustee Guzzo.
Yes.
Trustee Barker.
Yes.
Trustee Nero.
Yes.
Again, I want to thank everybody for attending, and this meeting is adjourned.